A man fatally shot his girlfriend during a domestic dispute and fled the scene before ending his own life. At 10:54 a.m. on Wednesday the 16th of October, deputies responded to a home in the 46,000 block of Rosewood Drive in Lexington Park, Maryland, on reports of domestic assault. When officers arrived, they entered the premises and found 25-year-old Alasia Janell Milburn suffering from a gunshot wound. She was rushed to MedStar St. Mary's Hospital, where she later died. Her 7-month-old infant was found unharmed at the residence and was placed into the care of relatives. Witnesses reported seeing a man flee the scene of the shooting in a red Hyundai Kona. Deputies quickly located the suspect, identified as 38-year-old Kenneth Lewis Price, travelling north along Route 5 at high speeds, and initiated a pursuit. A deputy bumped the speeding car near the 15,000 block of Prince Frederick Road in Hughesville, causing it to break down. The deputy sustained minor injuries from striking the suspect's car. Kenneth briefly exited the vehicle, then re-entered his vehicle and fired a single shot. When deputies reached the car, they found Kenneth with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. They immediately transported him to a nearby trauma centre, where he died shortly thereafter. Alasia survived by 2 young children. A 20-year-old man is behind bars for fatally shooting a 22-year-old co-worker during an argument outside a manufacturing plant. At around 3:30 a.m. on Wednesday the 16th of October, authorities responded to Cameco Manufacturing Building at 6515 Ameriplex Drive in Portage, Indiana, on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they found a man who worked at Cameco dead in the employee parking lot. The victim was identified as 22-year-old Lenell Jenkins. Witnesses told investigators that an argument broke out during a shift change between Lenell and the suspect, 20-year-old Lupe McGee Jr., when Lupe pulled out a handgun and shot Lenell multiple times. He then fled the scene in his vehicle before police arrived. It's unclear what the 2 colleagues were arguing about, as witnesses stated it did not seem to be excessively heated. At around 9:30 a.m. that same morning, Lupe was located at his residence on West 62nd Place in Merrillville, and he was arrested without incident. A handgun believed to be used in the homicide was also recovered from the home. Lupe was charged with murder, and he's been held at the Porter County Jail without bond. Police are investigating the fatal shooting of a man in a McDonald's parking lot. The incident occurred at around 3:45 p.m. on Friday the 18th of October at 1004 West Wilson Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. Authorities said that 45-year-old Randy Joyner was sitting in his vehicle when 2 men approached him. One of them pulled out a gun and shot Randy multiple times in the head. Medics rushed Randy to Advocate, Illinois Masonic Medical Center in a critical condition, and he died shortly after arrival. Officers at the crime scene described the 2 suspects as black men in their late teens. One was about 6 feet tall, wearing a black baseball cap, a dark hoodie over an orange or red t-shirt and black pants. The other was about 5 foot 7 inches tall and wore a white hoodie, black pants and white shoes. They're both seen heading south along North Sheridan Road after the shooting. No suspects have been named and no arrests have been made, as the investigation into the matter continues. A 31-year-old man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for fatally shooting his wife and their infant son in 2022. On Wednesday the 16th of October 2024, David Weingarten was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, child abuse and reckless endangerment. The following day, he was given 2 life sentences in the deaths of his 26-year-old wife Lizet Salinas-Mijangos and their 8-month-old son George Weingarten. At 6:55 p.m. on the 1st of February 2022, authorities responded to a 911 call from a man who reported a medical emergency at his home at 3247 Heather Glen Drive in Colorado Springs, Colorado. First responders met with David, who told them, "I just shot my wife and son. I've been feeling not good lately, and something just came over me. I don't know what happened. I've been hearing things, and I don't know what's going on. My wife and son are both dead, I believe." Officers then entered the residence where they found Lizet and the baby deceased with gunshot wounds, and David was taken into custody. During questioning, David told detectives that he had been having bad thoughts. He said that early that evening, he went to his car and grabbed the gun he kept in the vehicle, then paced around his home before deciding to shoot his wife. He then admitted to intentionally shooting his son. When questioned by detectives as to why he shot the infant, he indicated it was because the boy cried too much, and it made him anxious. He also told investigators he shot both of them because it was quick, and he believed it would limit their suffering. The couple's 20-month-old daughter Amber Marie was found unharmed in the home. She was placed in the custody of Lizet's twin sister Lisbeth Salinas, who planned to raise the girl as her own. A 67-year-old man is behind bars for violently stabbing another man. On the night of Friday, the 18th of October, authorities responded to a Walmart parking lot at 85 River Trace Lane in Chillicothe, Ohio on reports of an assault. At 8:07 p.m, officers arrived to find a male victim with a fish hook lodged in his neck and multiple stab wounds. Medics rushed the victim to Grant Hospital for emergency medical care. Through their investigation, officers identified a suspect, Dale Anthony Mootispaw, who was found near the scene. Dale was observed with dry blood on his hands and clothing and confessed to the stabbing during questioning. Authorities said that the stabbing reportedly took place about a quarter of a mile away, under a bridge near the North Easy Credit Auto Sales Centre. Dale was arrested and charged with felonious assault and remains held at the Ross County Jail. The motive of the stabbing is unclear, as the investigation into the matter continues. A 36-year-old Florida woman is behind bars after she instructed a 10-year-old child to kill an infant through Roblox messages. On Thursday, the 17th of October, Escambia County Sheriff's Office investigators were contacted by the Gulf Coast Kids House about a 2-month-old baby had suffered serious injuries after being deliberately dropped on the kitchen floor by a 10-year-old child in an attempt to end the infant's life. During the investigation, it was learnt that the 10-year-old child was communicating with 36-year-old Tara Sykes through the social media gaming platform Roblox. Authorities said that Tara instructed the child to drown the infant in the bathtub, burn the infant with scalding water, and drop the infant on the floor in order to kill it. Investigators said that Tara also instructed the child how to kill the adults the child was temporarily living with by cutting their throats with a knife while they slept and burning their house by dousing bed sheets with aerosol spray and setting them on fire. A 10-year-old doused the sheets but was unable to carry out the instructions. On Friday, the 18th of October, Tara was arrested and charged with attempted murder while engaged in aggravated child abuse. She remains held at the Escambia County Jail without bond. Sheriff Chip Simmons says, "I've been in law enforcement for over 40 years and never seen anything quite like this. I'm truly disturbed by the circumstances and the thought that anyone could think like this, let alone instruct these acts to be carried out. There's something really wrong with her," he said. The investigation's ongoing and further charges are possible. A Humble, Texas man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for killing his girlfriend's teenage daughter during an attempted sexual assault. On Friday, the 18th of October 2024, 62-year-old Van Henry Brisbon was found guilty of capital murder in the killing of 16-year-old Lauren Juma in 2022. At just after 1 a.m. on the 29th of April in 2022, Lauren FaceTimed her mother, who was out of town for work, and told her that Van was acting weird. Lauren's mother sent her older sister over to the house in Humble, Texas, and when she arrived, she found Van holding Lauren against her will with a gun. When Harris County Sheriff's deputies got to the scene, they heard gunshots coming from inside the house. Van then came outside and was arrested. Lauren was found shot to death inside the home, and a 9mm handgun used in the killing was found nearby. Investigators later found evidence that Van attempted to rape the teen. Following Van's capital murder conviction, he was automatically sentenced to life in prison. He'll be ineligible for parole. A couple have been arrested on child neglect charges. At just after 10:30 a.m. on Saturday the 19th of October, authorities responded to a home along Maple Street in Boonville, Indiana to complete a welfare check. Officers were informed that a 2-year-old had been left alone inside a room while the family went to a soccer game. Officers arrived at the residence and noticed the window boarded up. They knocked on the front door but received no response. They then forced entry into the premises and found a toddler inside a locked bedroom. The police then waited at the home for the parents to return. At around 10:55 a.m, the parents, Tyler and Autumn Brown, drove past the residence and saw an officer and the child outside. They continued around the block and were followed by another officer before returning to the residence. Tyler and Autumn were eventually stopped by police and placed into custody. Autumn told police that she thought it would be okay to leave the child alone because she thought she would only be gone for a short time. Officers were eventually told that the soccer game started at around 10 a.m. Autumn and Tyler were charged with felony neglect of a dependent and remain held at the Warwick County Jail.